Thank you for being here today, Bill. We're all excited to have your time. We love your music. We've been listening to you for, I have to say decades, Bill, because it's been decades. And you have much beauty and longing in your music. Also, the time you spent with Darwin Shaw and just the beautiful love that you bring to Baba every time you perform.
Wow.
So thank you for being.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba, so much. This is what I would call a kitchen concert, because we're right here in the kitchen of my home, mainly because that's where my landline phone is. And this kitchen itself has quite a history. This flat in Albany was originally rented by Michael Siegel. You may know Michael back in the mid-'70s, and another Baba family lived here. I moved here 40 years ago this year, and through the 1980s, this apartment was the guest house for so many Baba lovers coming from all over the Northeast and either places beyond to go to Gene and Darwin's meetings in Schenectady. And so we had many good get-togethers in the kitchen, so you're all welcome in the kitchen. And after they retired to Myrtle Beach in '89, we just kept going. The group has just kept going, rotating houses, and probably for the last 15 years, all the meetings have been held here and lots of activity in the kitchen. And also in the backyard, since June 1st, we've had 10 back in the backyard with Baba gatherings. We've been able to do that sort of out in the fresh air. So I'm going to do a few songs. There's going to be some poetry. I'm going to tell a fairy tale from India, and it'll be a nice kind of potpourri of different things. Let's start out with Ward's wonderful song, Learning How to Love You, so we can all sing Baba's name. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. All gifts are of your giving, all traits are your prasad, and the purpose of our living is our learning how to love you. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. So merciful and tender, the face and eyes of God, the obedience we render on our infant steps to love you. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. A joy too sweet for telling arose within a clod. A pearl of deep upwelling is the knowing that I love you. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. And thank you. I'm gonna follow with a song called Baba's Call, and the refrain on that is, Meher Baba, our Father. Just 4 simple words. Meher Baba, our Father. Come one, come all unto him, heed his loving call. The time is here, it's really true. He comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. Come sun and moon and planets, and hearken to his call. Come earth and wind and rivers too. He comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. Here's the refrain. Meher Baba, our Father. Meher Baba, our Father. Come grass and trees and flowers, he loves you each and all. Come birds and bees and fishes too, he comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. Come lambs and deer and donkeys, and answer to his call. Come tiny mice and camels too, he comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. Meher Baba, our Father. Meher Baba, our Father. Come little ones and wise men, and heed his silent call. Come maidens fair and lepers too, he comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. Meher Baba, our Father. Meher Baba, our Father. Come one, come all unto him, and heed his loving call. The time is here, it's really true. He comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. He comes for one and all. He comes for me and you. Say Baba. Well, I want to do a song by Bill Staines, wonderful folk songwriter. He's done some Baba songs that have been converted to Baba songs. All God's Critters got a place in the choir, and Music to Me. Your Name is Music to Me. I want to do one called The Spirit Song, and I want to introduce it, because I think this would be a nice little segue here, with a poem from Josephine Ross, one of Baba's first disciples, and a wonderful, wonderful poet. Her book, Songs of a Modern Disciple, has just been reprinted in its 3rd edition, and I thought this was a beautiful poem for these times. It's called Assurance. Lord, if the rose still blossoms and the thrush still raises his song, and the wind still sighs through the pine trees, I know that nothing is wrong. Lord, if the dew still sparkles on the meadow at break of dawn, and the doe still stands in the forest, guarding her newborn fawn, and the bluebird wings through the orchards, and the mourning dove still grieves, and the maple is decked in autumn in her gold and scarlet leaves, if the seed that's planted in springtime still yields a harvest of grain, then in spite of all man's folly, life can be sweet again. In spite of wars and tumult, the sorrows of man-made hell, Lord, if the rose still blossoms, I know that all is well. Song by Bill Stein. This is called the Spirit Song. And the refrains are kind of good. It's, oh brother, don't you weep no more. The sun's going to shine on the golden shore. Oh sister, oh mother, oh father. There stands a misty mountain in the soft and gentle rain, against the flight of endless time, forever to remain. Through all the passing seasons, through every night and day, I can see that misty mountain, and I feel the Spirit say, oh, brother, don't you weep. Oh, brother, don't you weep no more. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, brother, don't you weep. Oh, sister, don't you weep. Sister, don't you weep no more. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, sister, don't you weep. Up the rocky roads of trouble, through the twisted paths of pain, sometimes it is a struggle, sometimes we come up lame. But with children on our shoulders, we can face another day, and through their shining eyes of innocence, I can feel the children say, oh, Father, don't you weep. Oh, Father, don't you weep no more. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, Father, don't you weep. Oh, Mother, don't you weep. Oh, Mother, don't you weep no more. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, mother, don't you weep. And when there's music all around you, but you just can't seem to hear, when the answer's just around the bend, but it never shows up clear, when there's darkness right above you, it's hard to know and understand that there's a heart out there that loves you. There's a promise in your hand. Oh, people, don't you weep. Oh, people, don't you weep no more. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, people, don't you weep. Oh, people, don't you weep. Oh, people, don't you weep no more. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, people, don't you weep. The sun's gonna shine on the golden shore. Oh, people, don't you weep. That reminds me of a quote from Baba. And this song always reminds me of that quote. Baba says, it is infinitely better to hope for the best than to fear the worst. Time is as much made out of the nights as of the days. The world is approaching a glorious dawn once again in its inevitable course of ups and downs. My blessing to all. So, we have another song here. I love this song by Kathy Riley. Maybe you can sing along if you know the words. Fold us up in your arms. And the refrain is, Fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. I'm sure most of you know the song. When the day is here, the land is so dry, you can't even hear a single bird's cry in this desert of love. Fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. Fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. When the day is gone, the night is here, the loneliness and dark fill us with fear. Wrap us up in your love, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. Fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. When the ocean is so wide, our ships are so small, the waves cross our bows, crash and fall. Lend your hand to steer, and fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. Fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, fold us up in your arms, Mayhair. Fold us up in your arms. I wanted to do, this is a song called Hallelujah, the Great Storm is Over, Lift Up Your Wings and Fly by Bob Franke. This is a song that Darwin liked very much. He'd ask for this every once in a while. So. Hallelujah, the great storm's over, lift up your wings and fly. Hallelujah, the great storm's over, lift up your wings and fly. The thunder and lightning gave voice to the night, the little lame child cried aloud in her fright. Hush, little baby, a story I'll tell, of a love that has vanquished the powers of hell. Hallelujah, the great storm's over, lift up your wings and fly. Hallelujah, the great storm's over, lift up your wings and fly. Sweetness in the air and justice on the wind, laughter in the house where the mourners had been. The deaf shall have music, the blind have new eyes, the standards of death taken down by surprise. Hallelujah, the great storm's over, lift up your wings and fly. Hallelujah, the great storm lift up your wings and fly. Release for the captives, an end to the wars. New streams in the desert, new hope for the poor. The little lame children will dance as they sing, play with the bears and the lions in spring. Hallelujah, the great storm's over. Lift up your wings and fly. Hallelujah, the great storm's over. Lift up your wings and fly. Hush, little baby, let go of your fear. The mother and your mother is near. The child fell asleep as the lantern it burned. The mother stayed on till her bridegroom's return. Hallelujah, the great storm's over. Lift up your wings and fly. Hallelujah, the great storm's over. Lift up your wings and fly. Lift up your wings and fly. Hey, Baba. I want to do a song, one of my favorite songs by Scott McCaig, The Avatar's Waltz. And I want to introduce it. Somehow these words from Dr. William Donkin remind me very much of this song. So I just want to read a little phrase from Donkin. But I also came upon one of my favorite quotes from Baba. It's very simple. Baba was once asked, what is the most difficult thing in the spiritual life? And he said, to be perfectly human. That's in Kitty's book. I love that. So this line from these few words from Dr. Donkin from the Wayfarers reminded me that very much. I'm going to read that to you. It is unfortunate that scant justice has been done to the general atmosphere of this ashram and to the subtle quintessence of love which pervades everything that Baba does. His physical presence and the brilliance of his leadership have that impossible quality of the philosopher's stone, that by their magic touch, they transmute the base metal of the most commonplace routine into a treasure of loving service. This is perhaps an ornate way of describing something that is at once so real that one might think it easy to describe quite simply, and so transcendental that the spirit of it eludes the grasp of words. But this magic, this imponderable something, weaves itself like a golden thread into the fabric of everything that Baba does. And when the factual details of a phase of Baba's life are buried so deep in the ashes of one's mind to be almost forgotten, the memory of the splendid thing is there still. So this is the Avatar's Waltz, and put the music by Scott McCaig. And these are some of my favorite. The refrain is, and these particular words, the way they're arranged, it's almost like honey to the lips. You're mild-mannered, sweet, loving, gentle, and discreet, guileless and graceful you are, beloved of all times, Avatar. That's your refrain. And I'll do the refrain twice. You're mild-mannered, sweet, loving, gentle, and discreet, guileless and graceful you are, beloved of all times, Avatar. You're mild-mannered, sweet, loving, gentle, and discreet, guileless and graceful you are, beloved of all times, Avatar. From beginning to end, you are the real friend. Age after age, you are here, bringing solace and cheer. Song and singer you are, children's laughter you are, the love of all lovers you are, for you are Avatar. You're mild-mannered, sweet, loving, gentle, and discreet, guileless and graceful you are, beloved of all times, Avatar. Troubles they flee you, cares and worries fear you, Maya she takes to her heels, for it is your love that heals. Lovers thrill at your call, you've come to save all, your truth and your love without end. Help us self to transcend. Your mild mannered, sweet, loving, gentle, and discreet, guileless and graceful you are, beloved of all times, Avatar. So lucky are we, so lucky are we, your true lovers to be always in your light that outshines the sun bright. This is our wonderful plight and our bittersweet delight. Your mild-mannered, sweet, loving, gentle, and discreet, guileless and graceful you are, beloved of all times, Avatar. Beloved of all times, Avatar. That's Dana Field. Wrote the words to that, the Avatar's Waltz, and I hope some of you were up and dancing a little waltz to that, maybe. But before we get to Moon over Srinagar, I'm just going to follow that with another poem from Josephine Ross that Bob Brown put to music. Long time ago, it was on one of his early albums. And it is called I Saw a Star Shining. I saw a star shining in the evening sky. I raised a hand in greeting to Baba throne on high, to Baba throne on high. I heard a robin singing in a leafy tree. I love to hear the silent one singing songs to me, singing songs to me. I saw a dewdrop glisten in a rose unfurled. I grieve to see the Holy One weeping for the world, weeping for the world. I grieve to see the Holy One weeping for the world, weeping for the world. Hey, Baba, I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs to sing. Now, I'm just going to look up in my songbook here, Moon over Srinagar. See if I can remember how to do it. It's been a while. I think we can do it, yeah. All right. Classic Bob Brown. dawn is but a fading flower. The avatar love's fair design is gone before the parting hour. He blooms when we are all but blind. He wanders over every hill and vale, seeking every longing soul. He leaves his love behind as a trail to verify his only goal. And the moon is rising over Srinagar. His majesty is throned on high. Now we know just who you really are, yet still the time goes passing by. Goes passing by. When hope is gone and trust near ending, and everyone feels so alone, then he comes to us befriending. God knows how, but he feels at home. The sign is given through the stages. He takes birth again with men. He's on earth throughout the ages, be it Meherabad or Bethlehem. And the moon is rising over Srinagar. His majesty is throned on high. Now we know just who you really are, yet still the time goes passing by. And the moon is rising over Srinagar. His majesty is throned on high. Now we know just who you really are, yet still the time goes passing by. Goes passing by. Time goes passing by. Time goes passing by. Moon over Srinagar. Love that song. Well, we did a song by Dana Field and two early Baba lovers, Josephine Ross. How about Baba's words? A poem by Baba that Baba wrote to Dr. William Donkin, and I've got it right here. The date is in Jhansi, India, 5th of April, 1944. I'll just read what Baba said in this little. Donkin was stationed in the service somewhere in India, the British Army. Baba's gift to Donkin on his birthday today. Whether you come to one of the four places I mentioned or you are sent to Mecca, Medina, Morocco, Multan, Murray, in short, whatever happens to you, I bless your faith in me and your love for me to remain stronger than ever. You being in my inner circle, everything for you is being decided by the divine will. And accordingly, these 3 days stay with me will adjust things for you in view of your future work for me. So every other line in that poem is just you and me. And when I saw that, I said, now there's a song title. So you have plenty of chances if you want to sing along to just sing just you and me at this song. In the moonlight, just you and me. When everything is bright, just you and me. Just you and me. just you and me. In darkness or in light, just you and me. In wrong or in right, just you and me. Just you and me. Just you and me. When devil is in flight, just you and me. When God is in sight, just you and me. Just you and me. Just you and me. When truth is all might, just you and me. When difficulties are slight, just you and me. Just you and me. Just you and me. In corners all tight, just you and me. When life is all quiet, just you and me. Just you and me. Just you and me. In the moonlight, just you and me. When everything is bright, just you and me. Just you and me. Just you and me. Through countless lives we've come, struggling, persevering. Now our aim is one, and love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. It will cure all ills. Love alone prevails. The lane may twist and turn, night shadows slip around us, yet the flame within will burn, for love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. Through all our travail, love alone prevails. Life's every joy and pain, dedicated to you, we labor not in vain, where love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. It dissolves the veil. Love alone prevails. The world's a dream forsaken, we're clinging there to you. In your arms we will awaken when love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. It will never fail. Love alone prevails. The world's a dream forsaken. We're clinging there to you. In your arms we will awaken when love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. Love alone prevails. It will never fail. It will never fail. It will never fail. Love alone prevails. Say Baba. Well, here's a song. I think would make a nice lullaby. This song goes way back to the about the middle 1970s. I haven't heard it sung in a long time. But I've got this songbook thick with songs, and sometimes the songs just pop out. And I've always had a faith that there's always the perfect song for the perfect moment, for the perfect people, if it's only Baba or anybody I'm singing for. So sometimes that works. Let's see if this works now. You may remember this. The words are by Joel Cantor, and the music, of course, is by that great tunesmith, Mr. Bob Brown, the late and great Bob Brown. Rest as peaceful as a child, upon whose face our Father smiled. He'll lift away those cares you pile. Baba's watching over you. You may not know when he is near. His presence isn't always clear, but still you know you need not fear. Baba's watching over you. His love is always pure and true. No matter what you say or do, he'll be right there to see you through. Baba's watching over you. The gift he gives in softness glows and warms the seed of love it sows, the flower of love that grows and grows, while Baba's watching over you. The gift he gives in softness glows, warms the seed of love it sows, the flower of love that grows and grows, while Baba's watching over you. Such a sweet song, isn't it? Oh, wow. Jim sings it too. That's great. That's glad to hear that. I want to do, you all heard of rescue dogs and rescue cats. Well, this is a rescue song. that goes back to about 1977 or 78. And it's called Oh Silent One. I'm going to open my book here to get the song. Now, way back at that time, Scott McCaig was living in Myrtle Beach, and he had a little store, ice cream store, called the Beguine Ice Cream Store. And they also had a little, between him and Bob Brown, and I think Ward Parks, they had a little publishing company called, I think it was called Beguine Music. And they put out one cassette tape and a Xerox little songbook. And I don't know if there's any of those tapes left, but this song, which is Ward's music and Bob's, Ward's words and Bob's music, has always stuck with me. The refrain is, and it's called Oh Silent One, as you were in the beginning, you will be our end. Meher Baba, our true Lord and friend. Oh, silent one, love's pure and radiant ocean, whom no cup can hold, nor tongue can name. We sing from this far land of separation, drops yearning to return from whence they came. As you were in the beginning, you will be our end. Meher Baba, our true Lord and friend. As you were in the beginning, you will be our end. Meher Baba, our true Lord and friend. O glorious one wrapped in the veils of beauty, bestow your kiss on every sleeping heart. To burn and die is but a lover's duty. It is our aspiration and our art. As you were in the beginning, you will be our end. Meher Baba, our true Lord and friend. O eternal one, beloved of all ages, for whom are all our labors and our praise. We seek for no reward and ask no wages, but beg that you remain with us always. As you were in the beginning, you will be our end. Meher Baba, our true Lord and friend. If you were in the beginning, you will be our end. Meher Baba, our true Lord and friend. Baba. I have a request for You Are Everything, and that's coming. That's on the program. We will do You Are Everything and Everything Is You. I want to do one little song. It's a very short song that came to me a little while ago. And then I want to play some Indian tunes. I've got my recorder here. What I'm going to do is play 3 very short melodies. Then I'm going to tell you all a fairy tale from India that I've told to many, many children in the schools over here. And the teachers like it so much, I feel it's like a fairy tale for all ages. So, but first, this short little tune here. Come to me, come to me, to me. Come to me, come to me, to me, to me. Take my hand, take my hand, my hand. Take my hand, take my hand, my hand, my hand. Walk with me, walk with me, with me. Walk with me, walk with me, with me, with me. You'll be free, you'll be free, be free. You'll be free, you'll be free, be free, be free. Come to me, come to me, to me. Come to me, come to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, you'll be free. Okay, Baba. Let me just grab my recorder here, which I think is, here it is. These are 3 tunes. They're all associated with Baba in one way or another. The first one is, this was a song written by Baba in the 1940s, I think in Dehradun. Unegaram. I can't remember all the Indian words to it. I'll just play a little bit of the melody, then a little bit of Maito Prema Devani, which is, I think Rhoda Mystery has recorded that song. And I'll just play a little bit of the tune to the first arti, Meher Raj, that was written to Meher Baba by, I think it was Adi's brother, Rustam. And I think Mani put the tune to that, and she wasn't even a teenager at that time. She was just writing tunes. So here we go. And then I'm going to tell you the story of the magic lake. long time ago, in the state of Rajasthan, which is in sort of central western India, there was once a king, a Raja, and he was sitting with his 3 daughters one day. They were chit-chatting, sort of passing the time, and then he got sort of a serious expression on his face, and he said, "Tell me, dear ones, whom would you like to marry?" So the oldest daughter said, "I want to marry the richest prince in the kingdom." The middle daughter said, "I want to marry the handsomest prince in the kingdom." Now the youngest daughter, her name was Purnima, which means moon. She didn't say a word. Come, Purnima," said her father, "who would you like to marry?" "Father," she said, "I trust your judgment. I will marry whomsoever you choose for me." Whoever said the oldest, whoever said the middle, they were both jealous because they knew that Purnima was her father's favorite. Who else said the oldest? If she said anyone, "Father, why don't you make her marry a beggar?" "Yeah," said the middle daughter, "make her marry a beggar." So they started chanting, "Make her marry a beggar, make her marry a beggar, make her marry a beggar." So that foolish old king, just to prove that his favorite daughter would be true to her word to him, said, "Purnima, I command you this very moment to go out the palace gate, marry the first beggar you meet, and go off and live with him in the countryside." "Yes, father," she said. So a few things were packed in her bag, and followed by the royal priest, they went to the great golden doors of the palace, and the doors swung open. Well, Purnima didn't have far to look, for there, seated in a straw basket right at the edge of the palace gate, was a scrawny little man whose legs and arms were all twisted and deformed, and he could only hold out like one hand like this, so that some soul would come by and perhaps put a few coins in it or a few morsels of food. And that's how this poor, unfortunate fellow lived from day to day. But on this day, that outstretched hand won him the hand of the lovely Princess Purnima in marriage. Well, he couldn't even walk. So just as a village woman would carry a big jug of water on her head, bringing it back to her family, she had to lift that basket up with her husband in it, place it on her head, and they set off to live in the countryside. He couldn't work, so they would go from village to village, and she would do very simple work like mending clothes, cooking for people, watching the children, cleaning houses, things like that. And after a while, her nice princess's clothes became kind of threadbare and raggedy, but as the days and weeks wore on, she began to be very, very fond of this rather strange and odd-looking husband of hers. There was something in his eyes that drew her to him. Well, one day, it was a very hot, hot summer day. They were near a town, and they were at the edge of a lake. And it was the middle of the day, and Purnima's husband said, "Oh, Purnima, I'm so thirsty, and I know you're thirsty too. Would you go into town and get some oranges? That'd be a great way to slake our thirst. You can just leave me here right by the lake. I'll be fine." So she set off into town to get the oranges. And there he is sitting by the lake looking out over the water. And there was hardly a breath of air. It was so hot and hardly a ripple on the lake. And pretty soon, his eyes started to droop and he started to get a little bit sleepy. And he was just about to doze off when he looked up. And there, circling around and around and around, was great big black crow. And all of a sudden, that crow dove in the water and disappeared. About a minute went by, and about 100 feet out in the water, what emerged from the water was not a crow, but a beautiful, beautiful swan. And it spread its wings and flapped them very gently and flew off into the distance. Purnima's husband said, "Oh my goodness," he said, "I've just seen this lake transform a crow into a swan. Maybe it can make me into, it can heal me, it can make me into a normal young man. I've got to get in the water." So he grabbed the sides of the basket and rocked back and forth and rocked back and forth. Flipped over, rolled into the water, and got totally immersed and soaking wet, all except one little pinky finger that somehow didn't get wet. And as soon as he found himself in the water, he found strength and energy pouring into his body. His limbs were straightening out. He was growing taller. He was putting weight on. And a couple of minutes went by, and he stood up. He was healed. Well, there he is looking out of the water, just feeling incredible. And he hears a voice behind him, and it said, "Excuse me, sir, have you seen my husband? I brought him some oranges." And he turned around. He said, "Purnima, it's me. You're not my husband." She said, "You don't even look like him. What did you do, rob him and throw him in the lake? Where's my husband?" "Purnima, listen to me," said her husband. This is no ordinary lake. I saw it change a crow into a swan, and it's made me healthy and whole again. Look, part of me didn't get into that water yet. This little finger, watch what happens when I put that finger in the water. And he put his finger in, and it came out straight and true and strong like the rest of him. Purnima was so happy, she came and gave him a big hug. And said, Purnima, this is my story. I'm really a prince from a nearby kingdom. One day I was out hunting, and my hunting party and I, we were chasing these deer, and I sort of went off on my own, and I was chasing this deer, and it went on, and I couldn't catch it, and I found myself in a very strange part of my country. I didn't know where I was. So I decided to go to the nearest house or nearest little hut and ask for directions how to get back to the palace. So I found this rather eerie-looking place, and I knocked on the door. Who should live there but a witch? And this witch cast a spell on me, and that spell decreed that I had to become a scrawny, deformed little beggar sitting at the gate of your palace until someone who would come along and care about me, not for what I look like on the outside, but what I really am on the inside. And you are that very special person, and you stuck through me all these days and weeks. And now I will bring you back to my kingdom, and you will become my queen. And Purnima became not only a kind and gracious queen, but a very wise and able ruler as well. That's the story from India of the magic lake. So we had a request for You Are Everything, and that really ties in with kind of a couple of magical stories I'd like to share with you. One happened on Silence Day, and one happened the day after Silence Day, because it couldn't have happened on Silence Day because I had to say 2 words the day after Silence Day. So I've loved the music of the Stylistics since the 1970s. I feel they're the gold standard of all the black singing quartets. I think, and some of their songs, God Bless You, You Make Me Feel Brand New, to me it's the ultimate song of gratitude, and one can sing that entire song to Baba. And another song I just heard on YouTube was Some Things Never Change, My Love for You I Rearrange, and right away I felt in that song Baba saying, my love for you never changes. But 2 of the songs I've worked with, one is You Are Everything, which I just took that line, You Are Everything, and composed some other lines to it and sort of made it into a call or response. And I think I brought it to India in the early 80s, and Jal Dastur liked it so much he wanted me to teach him guitar so we could learn how to do just that song. And then recently, there's another song that I love of theirs called Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart. And someone in the neighborhood was playing that song on the boombox one day, and that's a whole other story. I won't go into that, but just a few houses up. And I thought, stop, look, listen to your heart. I can do the same thing with that song as I did with You Are Everything. Write some lines, just use that chorus. And that became a song I'll do both songs for you, but that became a song I took into the schools, especially in the inner city here, and the kids loved it. So we're going to do You Are Everything. And I'll do then Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart. And then I'll tell you what happened on Silence Day with those 4 songs. And you can, because in each of these songs, the lines all repeat, so you can just sort of repeat after me. And I got to give credit to Thomas Bell, who wrote the music for these songs. He was from the Caribbean. He studied classical music, and then he moved to Philadelphia and started doing, so I can do this with popular music. And Linda Creed, who wrote many of these beautiful lyrics. You are everything, and everything is you. You are everything, and everything is you. You are a little drop, and mighty ocean too. You are a little drop, mighty ocean too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are garden fair and arid desert too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are emperor and humble beggar too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are garden fair, I'm sorry, you are blade of grass, giant forest too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are firefly and blazing sun too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are speck of dust and lofty mountain too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are newborn babe and ancient one too. You are everything, and everything is you. You are everything, and everything is you. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Kind, be kind, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Give and forgive, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Live in peace, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Be the truth, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Do your best, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Then be happy, don't worry, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Again, be happy, don't worry, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, and listen to your heart. So that song, when I would do that, especially with third, fourth, and fifth graders, and I wrote those words specifically for the children, they would be rocking out. They loved that. Was an instant hit. They loved that song because it was sort of in their, that type of rhythm they're used to hearing in the inner city. So anyway, so Silence Day comes. This is my magical Silence Day story. And it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. I just popped on the computer. I don't know how your computer's on, but all I do is flip my computer on. It goes automatically to YouTube. I don't even have the choice. All these songs keep showing up. And there I saw You Make Me Feel Brand New. Well, I was feeling, just feeling it on Silence Day. And I just played that song and was really feeling Baba. And I may have listened to one more song. Then about 1 o'clock, I popped on YouTube, and there was Some Things Never Change. So I popped that song on, listened to that, was really feeling it. About 5 o'clock came, and I decided I had to go to the local food co-op and get some tuna macaroni salad. I really wanted something to eat. Just as I'm about to lock the door, I hear this car with a little bit of a noisy muffler going by. You make me feel brand new. And then right away they flipped into the first opening bars of Some Things Never Change. And I just turned around. I was just amazed that had happened. So I had my supper, had a quiet evening. About 5 or 10, I thought, well, it's about time to go to bed. And just as I'm about to get up from my chair to go to bed, a car goes by. You are everything. Everything is you. You are everything. I said, did that really happen? How is that possible? So anyway, I went to bed. After an hour, I couldn't go to bed after that. I was just really psyched up. So I get up in the morning. It's the day after Silence Day. And I go down to the garden. I have a nice garden in the backyard just to see if my flowers are thirsty. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm on a corner. So this is like the side street, and there's a little sidewalk coming into the backyard there. And I'm just facing the street when that same car with that little muffler noise goes by. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. I thought, 4 for 4, that's a home run. Not only that, but it actually drove by the house where I'd originally heard that song being played on the boombox outside. And I thought, how is that possible, Bob? Must be either in the original whim or something. But I thought to myself, maybe Bob is, and things like this rarely happen in my life with Bob, but I thought maybe Bob is saying to you, Bill, I want you to know that everything in your life and every one of your lives, your friends out there, and Baba, is perfectly timed. You're not perfectly timed, but it is perfectly timed. So anyway, this is sort of a corollary to that story because it involves one of the children from one of the schools. This is like the afterglow of Silence Day, the Monday after Silence Day. And I live in a very racially and ethnically and religiously diverse neighborhood. We've got some retired Irish brothers, college students, 2 Syrian refugee families, some young Mexicans who work very hard and drink very hard, a refugee family from, they're Bhutanese, but they're refugees from Nepal, some Caribbean folks, some homeowners, a really nice mixture, sort of an Americana. So school ended this year. I've been working with, I think, 17 classes, and school ended March 13th, the same day that the center closed. And normally in the spring, I like to bring out some photographs of India that I've had blown up, especially photographs that Glenn McGreeny had sent me. And I'll do a little thing, sort of a generic program in India, and then next week I'll bring in pictures of Mehrabad and Mehrazad and Baba and show the children and the teachers all about that. And usually at the end of the school year, the last song we always play, I'll bring in my little boombox, we'll play Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin, and I'll put up a little Don't Worry, Be Happy picture, and the kids will dance, and everybody will have a good time. But this year, with school cut short, I realized that 6 out of those classes, the children never got to hear Baba's name or see his picture. And for some reason, I was thinking of this one little boy in Mrs. Meyer's kindergarten class, and she said to me, you know, and I didn't remember his name at the time, but it's Ahmed. Ahmed, he's really glued to you. He's taking it all in. He's just totally focused on you, Mr. Bill. So the day after Silence Day comes, and like 3 houses up, I've got these 2 wonderful Syrian refugee families. And I'm kind of friends with the kids and the parents. And so I'm out gardening in the street out there, trimming the bushes, and who should show up but the little girl, Aisha, who lives there, and her brother, Mohammed. She's in 4th grade, he's in 6th grade, and they have 2 little boys with them. And I recognized them right away as children I've had in Mrs. Meyer's class. And the little guy there is that same kid that I was thinking of all the kids I was thinking about that I would love to have had heard Baba's name. He was the one person because he'd been pointed out. But I wasn't thinking that when they showed up. So the little girl went back to her house, but the boys wanted to pick mulberries. So on the corner of my house is an ancient mulberry tree that is so prolific that sometimes in the summer I have to get the snow shovel out to shovel the berries off the street so people don't slip and fall. So the boys came over, and I pulled the branches down. They each got a handful of mulberries, skipped off to play. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and 6 o'clock the doorbell rings. Now I have it's an old 100-year-old wooden house. There's either brownstones or old wooden houses in the area, and there are 2 large rectangular glass panes of glass in the outer doors, and hanging down on a hook is a beautiful 8x10 picture of Baba in a brown frame. It's one of the chase photos from '56, and Baba is looking right out on the street at everybody that walks by and the car that walks by. So anyway, the boys show up at the door. The 3 boys came over, and they opened the door, and they'd sort of come to hang out. They didn't have anything they really wanted to do, but one of them saw my bicycle. Mr. Bill, can I ride your bike? And I said, no, Mohammed, it's a little too big, and you're a little too small, and he kind of hemmed and hawed. And I said, hey, tell me, you guys, what do you want to be when you grow up? So one of the Mohammed said, I want to be police. And the other one said, I want to be FBI. And the third little boy, this little one that had been pointed out to me in that class, he said, I want to be a doctor. Then he looks directly at Baba's photo and says, who's that? And I said, that's Meher Baba. And, that's what happened. I didn't suggest that to him. Baba had brought him there. And he was that one I was thinking of all the kids. I wanted them to hear Baba's name. He came there. Baba brought him there, not because of my wish to hear him, but I think Baba wanted him to hear his name. And the thing was that 3 or 4 days later, the whole family was moving to Houston to seek their fortunes in Texas. So he got to hear Baba's name. I just thought, and if he hadn't said that, I would have forgotten completely. I wouldn't have prompted him. Oh, by the way, do you know who that is? I wouldn't have said that. So he got, and I had to say, it had to be the day after Silence Day because they couldn't have done it on Silence Day. I couldn't have spoken. So anyway, that reminded me of one song to do, sort of close things out here. And maybe I'll read one more poem from Josephine Ross to really close it out. But somehow this little story reminded me of this song, a song that was inspired by Mehra, Sweet Meher, You Come for All. Sweet Meher, you come for all you come for all. Sweet Meher, you come for all you come for all. Friend Meher, your hand for all your hand for all. Friend Meher, your hand for all your hand for all. Dear Meher, your pain for all your pain for all. Dear Meher, your pain for all your pain for all. Lord Meher, your love for all your love for all. Lord Meher, your love for all your love for all. Ooh, come for all you come for all. Sweet Mary, you come for all you come for all. Friend, may your hand for all your hand for all. Friend, may your hand for all your hand for all. Dear, may your pain for all your pain for all. Dear, may your pain for all your pain for all. Lord, may your love for all your love for all. Lord, may your love for all your love for all. Sweet Mary, you come for all you come for all. Sweet Mary, you come for all you come for all you come for all you come for all. Hey, Baba. I'd like to close with a poem, another poem from Josephine Ross. And just want to thank you all for tuning in to my little kitchen concert here, and thank Angela and everyone at Circle of Friends for setting this up for me. I'm so happy to be able to. I don't like to call this a concert. I call this a sharing, a music sharing, It's been wonderful. So let's close with this poem. This is called Let There Be Peace. Let there be peace within the heart and quiet in the mind, that God's great wisdom may descend, enlightening mankind. We cannot hear the still small voice that ever seeks to guide us. We cannot sense the shining ones who ever stand beside us, because we are so occupied with outer daily strife and have no leisure to enjoy God's proffered gift of life. The quiet thought, the loving heart, the silence of repose, the healing of a kindly word, the fragrance of a rose, the sky at dawn, the stars at night. These are but gentle things, yet knowing them we are aware of passing angels' wings. Let there be peace within the heart and quiet in the mind, that God himself may now descend to heal and bless mankind. I'll be picking a tune in my heart, strumming a tune, whistling a tune, humming a tune, and singing a tune. So. Well, I'm picking in my heart. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Yes, I'm kicking in my heart. Are you listening to these little notes I play? Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. And I'm strumming in my heart. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Yes, I'm strumming in my heart. Are you listening to these happy chords I play? Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. It's not much, I must confess, for a heart whose song did bless the whole wide world. Well, we're whistling in our hearts. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Yes, we're whistling in our hearts. Are you listening to the nifty tune we bring? Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. And we're humming in our hearts. Are you listening? Are you listening, Baba? Are you listening? Yes, we're humming in our hearts. Are you listening to our little melody? Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. It's not much, I must confess, for a heart whose song did bless the whole wide world. Well, we're singing in our hearts. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Yes, we're singing in our hearts. Are you listening to the happy song we bring? La 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 la, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. La 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 la, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Well, you're playing in your hearts. Do you hear you? Do you hear you? Do you hear you? Yes, you're playing in your hearts. Do you hear you? And your heartstring symphony. Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. La 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 la, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba, everybody. Time for me to leave, get some lunch.
Oh,
So happy to be with you all.
hey,
Jai
Bill.
Baba.
Anybody who wants to speak?
Speak now. He's going to lunch.
Not quite, not quite. Okay, bye
Marge?
everybody. Hope to see you again.
We love you.
Thank you so
Jai
much.
Love
Meher
you guys.
Baba.
Wonderful.
Jai Baba.
Jai Meher
Baba.
Baba, Bill.
Jai Baba.
Love
Jai
you
Baba.
too.
Jai
Jai
Meher
Baba.
Baba. Avar Meher Baba ki
Baba
jai.
ki jai.
Avatar Meher Baba
Meher
ki
Baba
jai.
ki jai.
Jai.
Avatar.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.